Here, I'll sit by the bit bet. Hey, bitty, 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 bitty. Hey. She's awesome. Alright, screw it. Okay, so there are many, and this is just in the last 30 years, archaeological discoveries that prove the Bible. What I just said there causes people to go insane in two directions usually, or in one of two directions usually. When I say it proves the Bible historically, it shows that it is reliable. Now, this does not mean that it proves any theological or anything of personal spiritual devotion. The Moabite stone or Tel Dan, the Mesha Stela. These things that, wow, the account from the account of the Moabites matches the account that we find in Kings. It's just from another different perspective. Or, man, the writing, ancient writing in Egypt, the Pharaoh, the wall, that obelisk the Pharaohs erected, talks about them expelling these people called the Israelites, and that they're having problems with them, and that now they're living as a buffer state, kind of like how the Gassanids were with the Byzantines. People wind up immediately jumping to, well, then that means the virgin birth and the resurrection and Elijah being carried away on chariots of fire into heaven is 100% true. That's usually the reaction of many people on the internet. And then you have two camps, those who say, yes, the virgin birth did happen, and the resurrection of Christ occurred, and so did all the miracles, and the Bible is a theological guide to life and all this kind of stuff. And then you have the other camp that says, well, that's just forged, or no, it doesn't. No, again, everybody knows in here, I'm a proponent of documentary hypothesis. I'm actually the biggest. I know more about documentary hypothesis than anybody on YouTube right now, or ever. That may sound like bragging. It does sound like bragging. It's just fact. Just one of those things. Nobody else is talking about it. I made several videos. I actually divided up JP, E, and D in my own book. I had highlighted a Bible into the different writers. And when I say, oh yeah, well, you have the peak creation story, where it's created by God, and then you have the last creation story that was created by the Lord. And people jump to, why? So why? How can you be a Christian if you don't believe Moses existed, or if you don't believe Abraham existed? Just because I think that we're damn certain that Moses did not write the first 5 books of the Old Testament. that Moses was not the author of Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, how you jump from that to he didn't exist is ridiculous, right? The authorship of the first 5 books had been disputed among the Jews and massively argued amongst the Christians from the beginning on through to the Dark Ages, into the Middle Ages, into the Renaissance. Unfortunately, it's died down today because people are dumbed down. But actually, I took the time to go through the complete Torah and use different color highlighters and add in notes and stuff like that. And it reads, and then not only that, photocopying it and pasting, E, J, P, and then there's D, which is Deuteronomy, but then also EJ, because we know E and J were grafted together. Now these things, what the term that irritates Pluto, the fundamentalist atheists will go batty over. Yeah, well, King David, established historical character, and so were many of the kings of Israel and Judah, and from that we can be pretty sure that any king of Israel or Judah that's listed in the Bible existed. And for no rational reason, I will get an argument from these people. That's why, in the word fundamentalist atheist, because they act like fundamentalists. Like when a fundamentalist runs into, there's no evolutionists. Evolution, adaptation, and change over time. It's misunderstood even by many who are anti-creationists, which the vast majority of Christianity is against creationism. Surprised people don't know that. The Catholic Church has come out. It came out in 1922 and said, yeah, look into it, it's live option. And by 83 or 93, the Pope came out and said, I think it was in the 80s, evolution, there's no more, there can be nobody, denying it is delusional. That you should, if you're a Roman Catholic, you should accept the theory of evolution. The Eastern Orthodox, we don't touch on that, but again, I can point to Clement of Alexandria. But it's shit like that. It's the reaction like that. Hey, they proved the House of David existed. David existed. He's a historical character, and his sons were. And the Book of Kings is pretty reliable as a historical chronicle. It's a chronicle of the kingdom. And it's accurate. They go apeshit. Now, there's propaganda in there. Again, I think King David was evil. He obviously had Joab murder every single one of Saul's sons. He was like a mafia don. He brought in mercenaries, whereas Saul before him never allowed. They were men from each tribe that came and fought. They didn't bring in foreigners. But yeah, it's these things that, I mean, what else should we call them? And many of them are ex-fundamentalists. If you're a Christian and you wind up not believing in God, study the Bible more. Right? Not, and I mean study it, don't just search for things to use as a gotcha or a weapon thing, you know. Even in the very early church, I forget which church father talks about this, but he said that, you know, somebody asked him, one of his parishioners, I think it was a child, well, where did Cain's wife come from? And he said, you misunderstand. This is for reflection. There are copious amount of early church fathers that say that, paraphrasing here, the first 10 chapters of Genesis are real and true, but not necessarily factual, and intentionally so. The two creation narratives are there to make you think. It's an allegory. It's describing. It's using fiction so you can meditate upon it to expose a greater truth. Right? And I'm going to get flack for this video by the fundamentalists. Christian and atheist. But I feel I respect Pluto and kind of wanted to clear it up, so this is the last one.